Hello students, welcome back to our chapter Skin, the Jack of all trades. Now in this video, I will discuss the topic structure of the skin with you. Firstly, I will tell you that skin, it is mainly divided into two components. First one is called skin proper and second one is called the derivatives of the skin. Now skin proper, it is again divided into two parts. First one is called epidermis, second one is the dermis. Epidermis, it is the outer thinner part of the skin, and dermis, it is the inner part of the skin. Now again epidermis, it is divided into three layers. First one is called cornified layer, second one is called granular layer, and third one is called germinative layer. And dermis part of the skin, it is having elastic fibers, blood vessels, nerves, etc. Now what about derivatives of the skin? Derivatives of the skin means all the structures which we derive from the skin. And these structures, they are just like hair, nails, mammary gland, sweat glands and sebaceous glands. So it is all about the structure of the skin. Now we will discuss the structure of the skin in detail. Firstly, we discuss the skin proper. Now as I have already told you that skin proper, it is again divided into two parts. Firstly, outer epidermis and inner dermis. Now epidermis, it is the outer thinner part of the skin and it is formed of stratified epithelium piled up layer after layer. Stratified epithelium means it is formed of stratified epithelium cells which are piled up layer after layer. Now at some places this epidermis, it becomes thick and hard, as we can see on our palms, soles and especially on the heels. At these three places the skin, it is very thick and hard. Now why the skin is very thick and hard at these three places? Because here it is devoid of blood vessel. Now the epidermis, it mainly shows three regions. First region, it is called outermost cornified layer. Second one is called middle granular layer. And third one is called inner Malphizian layer. Now first layer is our cornified layer. Now this cornified layer, it is also known as stratum corneum. And this cornified layer, it is the outermost layer which consists of several piled up layers of flattened dead cells. As you can see in this diagram, it is the first layer which is known as the stratum corneum layer. And in this stratum corneum layer, the cells which are present here, they are flattened dead cells. And they are present in layer after layer. So that's why I have spoken here that this layer, it is made up of several piled up layers of flattened dead cells. Now these cells, they are made up of a fibrous structural protein. And this structural protein, it is known as the keratin. And this keratin protein we can see in our nails, hairs, horns, hooves and silk. Now these cells, they are continually worn away or shed and are replaced from beneath by those arising from the deeper Malphizian layer. Now students, as you can see, when our nails, they are growing, then this grown part of the nails, when we cut this part, then we feel also no pain here, because this grown part, outer part of this nail, it is made up of flattened dead cells. So when we cut this part, or sometimes by some way when these parts, they are shed away or worn out, then from the deeper Malphizian layer, deeper granular layer, these cells, they are again growing outward to replace these worn out cells. So in this way again our nail, it has grown to a full length. So the cornified layer, it is tough and offers resistance to three things. As I have already told you that the outer part of the nail, it is very hard and tough, and so it is having resistance to three things. Firstly, mechanical damage, means this outer cornified layer, it is having no effect of any mechanical damage. Then it is also resistant to bacterial infection, means it is having no effect of any kind of bacterial infection. And then there is no loss of water by evaporation. Now second layer, it is known as the granular layer. Now this granular layer is a very thin middle layer, and it consists of 2 or 3 sub layers of flattened cells, and it gives way to the outermost conified layer. Now as you can see in this diagram, that this B layer, it is the granular layer, and you can see this granular layer, it is formed of 2-3 layers of flattened cells, and this layer, it gives way to the outermost conified layer. Now the third layer, it is known as this Malphizian layer, and this Malphizian layer, it is also known as the stratum Malphizi, and it is also known as the germinative layer, and it is the innermost layer. It is the innermost layer of the epidermis, and its cells, they can actively divide to produce new cells, because the cells of this layer, they are living cells, so they can actively divide and they can produce new cells, and these new cells, when they are produced, then they press and shift outward to replace the worn out cells of the upper 2 layers, and in this way the growth of that part takes place. Now students, we will discuss the coloration of the skin. Now you people tell me that you have seen that some people, they are having very dark complexion, some people, they are having very fair complexion, and some people, they are having just like wheatish complexion. Now can you tell me the reason why these people, they are having different complexions? Now the answer is that it is due to a pigment melanin, which is present in different quantities in different human races, due to which the different human races, they are having different colors, like very light brown to dark coloration. Now African Negroes, they are having genetically dark colored skin. Now Europeans, they are having light colored whitish skin, and most Indians, they have an intermediate colored wheatish skin. It is because of the fact that the African Negroes, they are having a very high quantity of melanin pigment. Europeans, they are having an intermediate, or they are having low quantity of that one melanin pigment, and Indians, they are having also neither too much nor too less quantity of melanin pigment. So that's why they are having different colors. Now if fair colored people, they are continuously exposed to sunlight, then their face or other parts of the body, they may get tan. Tan means they may get somewhat dark colored, but when again they get back to the shadow of the sun, or when they get back in the means without sunlight, then again they revert back to their original condition. Means when the exposure, it is cut down, then they revert back to their original condition. So it is all about this topic, epidermis, and about the 3 different layers of the epidermis. Now in this diagram, you can see, firstly I have told you that this one is the stratum corneum layer, which is formed of a protein keratin, and then second one is the granular layer, third one is this stratum Malphizian layer, then lower to this part there is the dermis layer, and this dermis layer, it contains also the sweat glands, and it contains the fat cells, it also contains the hair follicles. What is hair follicle? Hair follicle, it is a structure which encloses the root of the hair, but the full length of this root here, it is called hair shaft, and then the sweat pores, they are having their origin in the dermis region, but they open to the surface of the epidermis layer. Then blood capillaries are also present here in this dermis region, like arteries and veins. Then nerves are present. Erector muscle of hair, it is also present in this layer, which gives the skin a wrinkled appearance due to winter or due to some emotional state, and it is all about the structure of this human skin, and it is very important structure, and you have to do the practice of this diagram many times, because many times this diagram, it comes in paper. Now students, I will tell you that the skin pigment, it acts like an umbrella to protect inner parts of the body from the harmful effects of the ultraviolet rays of sunlight, because these ultraviolet rays of sunlight, if they get entered in the internal organs of our body, then they may cause some health problems, just like skin cancer also, because these UV rays, they are very harmful to our skin. So this skin pigment, it acts like an umbrella to protect inner parts of the body. Now there are two abnormal conditions which are related with our skin pigmentation. Now students, sometimes we have seen that some people, they are having no proper pigmentation at their body surface, means at some places of their body the skin pigmentation, it is lost. So these skin pigmentation, it is a problem which is of two types, and first abnormal condition, it is known as the leukoderma, and second one, it is called the albinism. Now this leukoderma, it is also known as the vitiligo, and in this leukoderma, the melanin pigment, it is lost from smaller or larger patches at different regions of the body. Again I am repeating here that melanin pigment in this condition leukoderma, it is lost from smaller or larger patches at different regions of the body. Yet exact cause of this disease, it is not known. Now this leukoderma disease, it is also known as the vitiligo disease. Now second one is called the albinism. Albinism means complete loss of pigmentation of the skin all over the body, including hair, eyebrows, eyelashes, and even the iris. Now students, sometimes you have seen that there are some persons whose hair color, it is also lost, means they are not having any black color of the skin. Their skin color of the hair, it is totally removed. Actual hair color, it is totally removed. Similarly, their eyebrows color, it is totally removed. They are somewhat like light, very light brown colored, and eyelashes color, it is also removed. And even the iris, what is iris? It is a part of our eye which gives our eye the colored appearance, because some people, they are having brown colored eye, some are having blue colored eye, some are having black colored eye. It is only because of the presence of the iris. So when this color, it is also removed from the iris part or hair or eyebrows and eyelashes, then it is known as the complete loss of pigmentation, and this disease, it is known. So some people, they are having very light color of their hair, eyebrows, eyelashes, and even the iris, only because of this albinism. Now in this albinism disease, the skin of affected individuals, they also appears pinkish because of the underlying blood capillaries, because the total upper pigmentation, it is lost from their skin. So due to which the underlying blood capillaries, they become visible, and due to the light pink color of the blood, the skin, it also appears pinkish. Now albinism, it is a recessive trait, and it is caused due to inheritance. Means if an albino couple, he is having, albino couple means if a couple, he is having